What's up? I'm Talk, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
You blessed us with such an incredible debut single. So for you as an artist, like working on an EP that you've been working on for so long and finally deciding to choose what that debut is going to be, how did you go about as far as picking your debut single?
Um, it was definitely up in the air for a while. I wasn't really sure it was gonna be until I posted on TikTok, and TikTok made that choice for me. Um, I love making my own decisions. I don't like leaving it up to other people, but in this case, it was so overwhelming. I had no choice. Um, I had to make that the lead. So there was too much momentum to release something else, and it also just it was a song that spoke to me, and I knew people would resonate with it, especially that's like where it hit me in the heart when I was writing it, and so I thought it was really the only choice. And I think people saw that and people respected that. And even though I've released some heavier stuff since, more rock related stuff, um, I felt like it was the best decision. I felt like it's everyone. The messages I got were so nice and so sweet, and yeah. So I feel like that's really how I came to the decision. TikTok, which kind of yeah. I don't know if that answers your question. But
I have to admit, like that's still my favorite song from you right now.
thank you.
Runaway to Mars basically just showcases your vocals in so many different ranges. And again, as an artist, like kind of discovering your sound. And for you, I feel like you just have so many vocal techniques and vocal ranges that you can just hit within every track that you're creating. So, how do you not do too much and how do you not do too little?
It's hard. That's a very valid point. Early on in the music I was making before this project, that was a piece of feedback that I got. Was like I was trying to go to 100 from the start, and it took me like a while to take a step back and be like, okay, all my favorite songs don't do that, So why am I trying so hard to do that? And it's like I think it's a lack of belief in my own self to be like, oh, people aren't gonna like it if I'm not like just at the top of my range, like singing my heart out from note one. Um, and Mars was like that too. Mars, when I originally recorded it, was like I was singing an octave up. I was singing higher in like the lower parts. I was like, well, it's gonna suck if I'm singing down the whole time. And then I did a pass of it, and it fit so much better. And that was kind of a turning point for me, I think, too, in how I was writing songs, and that works so well. That like a song has to build to somewhere, like a song has to start in one place and take you somewhere else. That's the beauty of music, and I think that Mars does that. It did it for me, and that's why I loved it so much, and I think it did it for other people too. um and vocally it does the same thing. It starts in one place, it's very like and then it like eventually before my time runs out, and then it like goes up, and then from there obviously more and more. um But it's yeah, that's something that I feel like people with big voices probably struggle with, especially recording music and stuff. And I did.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey with your voice. I feel like it continues to explode as the song continues or it continues to build as as the song continues. But also at the same time, you haven't experienced a live show yet, so
It's true.
not knowing what to expect on your live show, and let alone like a tour when that happens,
Yeah.
how do you go about as far as like not exhausting your vocals with just one song?
A really good teacher. That's my best advice to anyone. I would totally blow my voice out. Like after recording some of the songs that are on this project, I would not be able to sing. Like even starting out practicing lives like some months ago, but like before we thought it was going to go back to whatever. So I was exhausting myself, and then I got a really good teacher. Her name is Marla Joy. So Marla, I know she's going to watch this and send me a note and say hi. Thanks for mentioning me. Love you. I love you too. Um, and she like really taught me how to sing properly without hurting myself. She didn't want me to change my style or anything like that. But there is a difference like I never really had voice, and so when I'm singing these rock songs, I was singing from like my throat, and that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to sing from like your face. And there's a bunch of stuff. Like it's too much to talk about now, but basically, a really good vocal teacher is how I've saved my life. And now that's not anymore. For the last few months, like I have the most incredible live band. I live with my live band. We're all best friends. And we practice all the time, and it's never an issue anymore. But it definitely was, and it was a scary one because I would play somebody a song of mine at a party, and then like towards the end of the song, it's like I can't sing anymore. Um, but yeah, it was definitely a very real issue for me, but it's solved. So come to my show still. I'm not. I'm gonna be able to sing the whole time. I promise.
Well, at least now you know how to save your notes.
Yes,
I would be freaking out if I'm getting ready for that show and like I don't have
it's
the
the
proper
most
techniques.
anxiety you could imagine. It's yeah.
So, with that being said, you have the debut EP that's out now. Talk to me. This is 6 incredible tracks that you have on this EP. This EP has been quite some time in the making for you, a couple years, if
Yes.
not longer.
Mhm.
But one of the things that caught my attention was that you decided to open up with, like I said, the hardest song, but you closed it off with the first song or the oldest song that you ever,
Yeah.
created
The
for this
oldest song that's
EP.
on the project, yeah, and the song called "Save Me," and I wasn't planning on releasing that song actually. It kind of came to be that for some reason, even after 4 years, the song was sticking around on all my like SoundCloud playlists, my own stuff, like sending songs to people. They're like, "Oh man, that saved me one." I'd be like, "What the hell? Why does everyone keep bringing this song up? It's so old." Um, it was my first time like away from home in New York working with someone. I had written the song back home in Ottawa, where I'm from, north of Toronto. Um, but I hadn't worked with anyone ever, and I got flown to New York to go like work on that song 2017, 2018, and then it kind of fell off the face of the earth and no one listened to it, and like in my team, and I didn't listen to it anymore. And then it got brought up one time in a meeting when we were talking about tracks that we could use, and I listened to it again. I was like, okay, it's pretty good. Like this, I don't remember it being this good. And then it kind of just stood the test of time, and it's such a very real song to me. And I'd written it about a friend, and I wanted that feeling that friend felt better when I showed them the song, and so I wanted other people to feel that too. 'Cause that's what other artists are for me, and so it was a pretty easy choice to include it after it was remembered. It was brought back from the dead.
I can't imagine having a song so personal like that, so vulnerable like that. I can't imagine it being recreated, redone in any kind of way. So, what do you mean by you went into the studio and kind of redid the song?
So I had written and recorded a lot of it, but it was missing a part. It was missing the part of the song that's like feels like I'm nothing, won't you save me? That part I was they called down for because like I won't let you keep me down for very long. That like pre-chorus part. That was where the song chorus was before. Like the pre-chorus was the chorus. Um, and so when I went to New York and they had listened to a bunch of my demos, they're like, "Hey, we love this song, but it needs like work. It needs more parts to it." I'm a very open book, like probably too much. I probably said some things about myself that I probably shouldn't say in public, but and not bad stuff, but like funny stuff that's happened to me. Um, and uh, and so when it comes to writing, I feel like if I don't feel like that with the people I'm working with or writing with, then I shouldn't be working with them. It should be like an instant, like I can tell this person everything about me, and I know that we'd make something good, or they would understand me, or like anything like that. And so I felt like that with these guys, and it's Brent. Their names are Brent Colitale and Ken Lewis. They're absolute legends in the music industry. Have worked with like everyone I could think of: Kanye, Fun, Drake. Just like real, it was my real first like look inside the music industry. And they were fantastic to work with and guided me through a lot of opening up about stuff like that. Um, and we came out with a great product. They knew what they were doing, and I trusted them. And I think trust is a big thing when you're making songs.
When you get to work with someone like that, that has had such incredible, or has an incredible resume.
Mhm.
What's the most like fun time for you in the studio? Is it that first hour when you guys get to know each other and like get to talk about what you're feeling, what you want to write about, or that final hour when you guys are finalizing the records?
I really love all of it. I truly am obsessed with making songs and writing music, and I have been since the beginning. I used to work like a regular job, like a 9 to 5, and I actually didn't mind the job. It was a decent job, but I would get home and I would sit in my computer chair and I would make a song like almost every night for like a year, 2 years before I was doing any of this. I just loved it so much. And then I love sending it to people and like getting, I call it like my mirrors, like my friends and close friends that I can see the reflection of like what I'm making back and they're telling me things. Um, and, uh, and I think the best part or my favorite part, like if I had to pick something, um, is probably I don't know about the finished product because I feel like studio sessions nowadays, people don't really finish songs in the first studio session. I mean, I definitely don't. Maybe I work slow. I think I tend to write before I record. I'll like write the whole song, like music and stuff. It's not often that I'll have the music done first. And so it's kind of lyrics and like the chords at the same time. And I think that's my favorite part is putting the puzzle together. Like you have these thoughts and you're connecting with people in a room or even just connecting with yourself and sorry, I caught a fly right there. That probably looked weird. There's a little fruit fly issue going on in my house right now. But yeah, it's like the connecting with people and building a story and I was just writing in LA and I had the same experience of like we sat down, I talked about something I thought about on the plane. I think it was something like all cowboys go to heaven or something, and I thought that was just like a really interesting thing. And so I started writing a song about it, and it was just like the beauty of putting these puzzle pieces together. As a writer, when something fits, it feels so good. Like when you know you got that thing and you did it, like you know it fits so perfectly where it's supposed to go. It's like there's no other feeling for it, feeling like it in the world. And people talk about that all the time. Writers talk about that all the time. Like when you hit that perfect line or you hit that perfect thing, like there's nothing else like it. And so I think that would be my favorite part.
During the actual recording process of the EP, where would you say like you felt challenged with these 6 songs? Do you feel like you were still stuck on some of the recording aspects, whether it was vocally
Mhm.
or instrumentally? Are you also part of the instruments for this record?
Yeah, so I would say like me and my guitar player who you can hear absolutely shredded his ass off this entire record. An incredible guy named Connor Riddell. He's like my co-producer. Like we'll work on something together. And when it leaves my computer, like the first time I'll just sit down. When it leaves my computer, it's probably 90% of the way done. Musical production, pianos, whatever's on there. Um, but I'm not really a detail guy, so it'll go to somebody else for 10%. The last 10% get it to like just maybe it's engineering things where like I didn't cut things off properly in the session or like just like little things that someone would hear. And there's a few people I use for that. Um, and then get it mixed and mastered. So really like I would say I probably produce like 80% of what's there, like 50, 60, 70, 80. I don't know. Depends on the song. But I am involved in yeah, all parts of everything, recording, production, even mixing sometimes. Yeah.
Now, I know you said earlier that you are an open book, but what do you feel you learned about yourself during the recording process or even the writing process of these songs?
That I'm not a bad dude. And I need to love myself more. That's the whole point of this project is like I was always so hard on myself. And I think I still am hard on myself, but not nearly as much as I was. And it's been a real blessing for like my mental health and probably the people around me because I'm not so goddamn miserable anymore. But the whole thing of talk to me is like me looking in the mirror, and that's why the art is me split into four. It's four pieces of me and four parts of my personality. There's like the astronaut that wants to run away and never be found and be alone and be a little angsty teen, and then there's like the Hollywood guy that just wants to be in the spotlight all the time. And then there's like the underwater save me guy, like I'm drowning. And then there's like the badass, like I don't give anything. Train conductor, like drug kingpin. These are all aspects of who I am, I feel like on the inside. And so this whole EP was just exploring that and exploring like what I feel. And I had so much time alone with my thoughts, just like everyone else the last few years, that um this is like this was a love letter to me. I think it was like it was not like go easy on yourself there, buddy. Like you're a good dude. Like you don't need to be so hard on yourself.
Did you know the identity of this EP as you were starting to write it, or is this something that you kind of discovered as you got closer to the final product?
Definitely what I discovered for sure. Like when I going into it, I'm not smart enough to think of that concept going into it. I definitely is definitely the more I did and the more I like discovered, the more I put the songs on a list together and was like, I'm really talking like talk to me, save me, like how long this impatient, like, it was really like I could see that I was coming through in a lot of these songs. And yeah, I would say definitely, definitely found it along the way. I think it was really when I started to think about like because each song does have a little bit of a like I it doesn't sound like it's not all one sound. Like I do a lot of different things, and I think it all sounds like me because I sound like me when I sing. Um, but I think there's so many different like influences in certain songs that to me was like, okay, there's characters singing these songs. Who are these characters? Then it just took me a second to realize like they're me. It's all me, just in different ways. Um, so that's where the whole four character thing, quadrant face idea came from.
I feel like you did a lot for an EP. I feel like the identity of this EP and the reasoning behind it could have like
Probably
been
could have been a
easy.
double album.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how
Yeah,
did you go? I mean, what was your mindset for just? I mean, I don't want to say just because it's not just.
I
It's
get
not
it.
something
No,
easy, but what was
yeah.
your mindset for picking an EP over an album when you have this like this this four character kind of story going on?
I think it just the idea fits so well. And it's like when an idea fits that well, like I don't know what's gonna happen in a year. Like I don't know what's gonna happen in 10 years. I don't know if I'm ever gonna make an album. Who knows? I mean, I hope I will. But you never know what's gonna happen. So like saving ideas for other ideas, I feel like is just like it could end up being a waste. What if I come up with something better and then I regret not using that here? It fits so good. Like I couldn't do that to myself. And so I just said like this is what it is. It's like the writing thing. It's like when you know something fits and you know something works, you got to just do it and it feels so good. And like as soon as I realized, I remember I was lying on the couch talking to my stylist, um who was the brilliant stylist behind that whole cover and like all the costumes on that. Her name's Shireen. And we were just chatting back and forth about this shoot because I knew I wanted to go and shoot all my album art the same day, which is very like intense thing to do. But I had this for some reason when we were talking about booking it, I had this feeling that it was just gonna work. We were just gonna do four different outfits, and then these outfits we started like making these Pinterest boards, and they were being named like the train conductor guy, and like they were being named more character stuff than just like outfit stuff. And then it just like made sense. Like these are characters, and I identify with all of them, like on a core level. Like these are all very simple characters that I love. One's a star, one's a like kingpin, one's like an astronaut. Like I feel like I'm all these people, and then I was like, I am all these people. Holy shit! Cut my face into four. That was basically the conversation. Lying on a couch in my underwear.
Out of these four characters or these songs in general, which one would you say like was giving you the hardest time to finalize, whether it was the writing process or the recording process, and
I
why?
think I think Runaway to Mars for sure. So the story with that is I have the original voice note. It was like 3 in the morning, like a few marches ago. I don't even know how many. I don't. Time's weird right now. I don't know how many marches ago, but I remember I was in my parents' basement. I was visiting them. I was scared they were gonna shut down the city or something, so I like moved back home with my parents and like anyway, I locked myself in a room and it's 3 in the morning and I played almost the whole song, like not exact words, but like melodies and like chords and stuff. The first time I played it, I had heard the na 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 na, and then I started a voice recording and just like played what I thought the verse would be, and it was pretty close to what it ended up being. And then I recorded it the next day, and then it kind of just like I was making a lot of rock stuff at the time. Like I made How Long, Talk to Me, and Runaway to Mars like the same week. And so it was like all like this heavy shit and then Mars. And so it kind of like fell off a bit. Um, and the version that I released is essentially the version that I recorded that first day, just with new vocals. I just gone in and done them on better equipment. But like how it's just guitar and like a little bit of bass is how I did it the original way. Um, but I didn't think it was enough. I thought it needed to be more complex. So there's probably like 20 versions of that song. Like I don't even know if I'm exaggerating. Like maybe like probably actually 15. Like no drums here, guitar solo, like sped up, slowed down, like. But then I just realized I was trying too hard, and that the original version was the one that was special, and so I just went with that. But that definitely caused me the most like stress. And then I made country songs randomly, and I thought I was a country artist. I almost scrapped everything. That was a moment that I didn't like. My mom told me, she's like, I think you should be a country artist, and I was like, what the hell? So I like done a couple country demos. Anyway, it's a whole thing. But I had a little identity crisis midway through that.
So would you say you found yourself with this EP, or is that something
Yes.
you're still trying to do?
No, I think I really did. I think I 100% know who I am now, and I'm so happy with like what I make and the sound that I have and who I am, and I'm in a way better place. It's been very therapeutic. It's all writing has always been therapeutic for me, and especially this project has just like really changed the way I look at things. And I can't wait to do another one. I can't wait for the next thing.
Well, I mean, let us digest this one first, because I mean, this is
Yeah,
such an
yeah.
incredible EP.
Thank you.
So don't go jumping on and releasing more music like in the next month, so we
I'll
can
be
like.
patient. I'll be patient. I got so much more to do, but I'll be patient. I promise.
Perfect. Well, congratulations with this EP.
Thank
Like
you.
I said, you blessed us with the masterpiece of Runaway to Mars, and now with this Talk to Me EP. So congratulations with that. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck on your first ever show, December 9th in
Thank
Ottawa,
you.
and looking forward to doing this again, man.
In Toronto, December 9th in Toronto.
Oh, Toronto. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go. No, you're good. And December 23rd in Ottawa. I don't know if I can announce that even, but there you go. There's gonna be some shows. It's gonna be fun, and come out and say hi and give me hugs. And I
Absolutely.
appreciate your time. Thank you for asking me questions about myself. It's nice.
Thank you for answering them.
Anytime you want to do more, you let me know.
All right, I will. I'll give you a call.